The content on this channel has been created for adults. If you're not at least 13 years of age or older, then please do not watch this content. Sorry, dude. Come back when you're 13. What's up, family? Welcome back to another video. You know, sometimes I like to do these videos where it's really me just talking with you guys, communicating, letting you guys know what's going on in my life and how, you know, I guess in our family in general, what's going on and different things and all these kind of stuff. So this video here is a couple of things that I want to talk about because, well, you know, these are things that's just kind of been going on. And yeah, I guess it's kind of like a little family meeting like we do sometimes, but not like the meeting. This is more of an update, like, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what you doing? What you been up to, you know? Yeah, I mean, you know me, man. I'm just in here doing these videos. But how are you guys doing? How are you guys holding up? How are you guys coping with everything that's still happening around the world? You know, wherever you are in your neck of the woods, how are you doing? Let me know. If you're in the live chat right now, let me know how you are doing, and let's talk about it. And if you're not in the live chat, drop it in the comments below, because we will revisit this video. And you know, always just, you know, I like going through the comments, but a lot of times I like to make a video where we talk about things that were said in the comments, which I think is cooler, because then it feels a bit more interactive, I think, as well. And something that someone may be going through or experiencing or have happening, when, you know, you talk about it, someone else might go, yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at right now. I'm stuck there too, or I'm experiencing that too. So communication, as always, is the key. Like me personally, this is something that I'm going through, and subsequently it affects you guys, because I feel right now that, you know, there's one thing that's holding me back right now. My technology, my gear is holding me back. I have not until recently just realized how much so I'm so dependent on this stuff. Without this gear, I you know, and that's what I'm saying. Even though it is what it is, it's holding me back. It's keeping me from really being as efficient and quick with doing anything that I want to do right now. But without it, I wouldn't be able to do anything at all. So I'm still appreciative of it, even though I feel it's the one thing that's just really holding me back right now. My computers are way too old. They can't handle the workload. They're crashing, rebooting, freaking out of the middle of things. Nothing worse than when you're editing or doing anything, recording, and suddenly your whole thing just freezes up and you're stuck on that screen, or it reboots and you're like, dude, are you serious right now? Are you serious, you know? And you know, it is what it is. You know, you gotta use what you got, you know, and do what you can do the best you can to your ability, you know. But that's my thing. That's my one thing that right now I am kind of, it does stress me. It's my kind of my one stress. If you guys ever want to know my one stress, it really some days becomes that point where it freezes up and you're sitting there and you've already had the screen freaking just, you know, take forever to render, because your computers, again, these are old systems and things, you know, use them best I can, but it freaking takes hours to do something that should have taken, you know, with the right gear, you know, something newer, faster. It would have only taken like a few minutes, few hours, few minutes. That's crazy, you know. So, but it is what it is. But it is my one stress. If anything right now that I could say, what is your one stress in life? For me, that is a huge stress for me. The other thing for me personally that stresses me, obviously outside of my gear that I'm trying to do, the best I can with. But you know, the one thing outside of that as well that stresses me, I would have to say, would also be just I just feel like it's just mind blowing that times just seem like we're going in a loop. You know what I mean? It's like have you feel like that? Like it's like we're not advancing in a positive way. We're in some type of weird loop where it's like no one's learning from the history of things that has happened and that is happening every single day. People are still in denial that it's even happening. I don't even want to go on and talk about it because you guys know I've done talking about it a few times, like this whole pandemic thing and stuff. The racism stuff, you know, like all this stuff. It's like, dude, why does it feel like we're just in some stupid time loop? It's kind of frustrating. You know, you watch the news or anything like that. It's the same stuff. It's like, dude, we've already lived this story, and now we're living it again. That's stressful to me. I feel like we should, as a race, have, you know, the human race I'm talking about, the whole entire planet, every single person on this planet, no matter what country you're from, would have evolved by now to just a higher place, a better place, but we're still dealing with the same crap. It's like, ultimately, we're our worst enemy. We are. People, we're our worst enemy. We are our worst enemy. I was just, cause all my news or anything that I get, I watch it from YouTube, right? So like the news, you know, like NBC nightly news, they'll have like a broadcast on YouTube and things like that, whatever. So I watch, you know, I like to watch my NBC news, you know, and stuff like that. Just so I, you know, the nightly news, a little bit, just at least know what's going on, you know, everywhere, and especially back home in the States and stuff like that. So I know what is, you know, like, kind of in one sense don't like hearing, because like now, you know, like my brother's in Florida. Florida's freaking just gone nuts with the whole thing, you know, and it's stuff like that. Just, but they said, you know, one of the nurses, the doctors was talking or something. Oh, we don't have enough masks. We don't have enough gowns. We don't have enough this. Dude, like, it's just a loop. We heard that earlier, and why hasn't the things been done to make sure that there is enough everything? But then you hear Trump talk, and Trump says, oh, look, everywhere has sufficient amount of things. He contradicts what other people say. And just is like, dude, we're in some really weird Groundhog Day situation around the world. So that'd be my stress. I'd say that'd be my stresses right there. Those two main things. You guys know in my posts in my community page, I talked about, I left a post about the fire alarm going off yesterday, which last night, must have been about 10 p.m.-ish or something like that. Just here editing, like usual, working on the videos. And suddenly, they have speakers in the room that connect to the whole building. And the alarm starts going burp, burp, burp. And it starts getting louder and louder. And then suddenly, the alarm doesn't just go by itself. The alarm also has a message which says, you know, the alarm has been activated. The fire alarm has been activated. Stand by for further instructions. Meanwhile, the alarm's going burp, burp, burp. And I'm like, stand by for further instructions? What? Like, if the alarm's going off, I ain't standing around waiting for doodly doo-dah. I ain't waiting for further instructions. When I hear the alarm go off, I ain't taking any chances. I'm out. So I hear the alarm, boom. I just go into that frame of mind where, okay, boom, fire alarm, get out. wait for further instructions while the place could be burning down. I don't know. So I go over to the door, and I haven't had to leave in past few days or anything. I hadn't left. I was just in here doing my thing, trying to. Again, I'm one of those people who's doing my best to. If I don't have to go out anywhere, I ain't going out. especially now that I've been trying to get the supermarket to deliver the food and stuff. I'm in my own self-isolated quarantine, whatever you want to call it, doing my own thing. And if I don't have to go out, I can go out. I can get fresh air from the balcony there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go out. I can exercise. I do laps around the room, around the thing here, you know what I mean? Exercise, whatever I need to do. So, I mean, I don't think there's, you know. Matter of fact, the only time I go downstairs lately was to go pick up the food because they can't bring it upstairs. So that's the only time I go down. I grab that, I bring it back up. And usually I go and I do it, and I'll warm up my car in the process because I've got a little system I've developed, you know, where I get the delivery dude to just put the stuff in the trunk of the car, and I'll have it open and I'll stand my distance so that I'm doing the social distance. I don't care what everyone else is doing. I don't care what everyone else thinks, because clearly there's still a pandemic going on if you take the time to notice, and everyone becoming too lackadaisical, too complacent. They're just like, and that's how it's blowing up again everywhere. Victoria has just had the biggest day. Victoria's one of the states here in Australia, by the way, guys, where I'm staying at the moment. Victoria just had their biggest day. They went from 0 cases. Everywhere was completely clear in Australia, and now Victoria's blown up. They've had big case numbers every day now. Today they had the biggest out of all the entire time since it started. Since it started in Australia, they've had their biggest day since it started. Like, even bigger, like they broke a record or something. Like, how does that happen, right? So it happens because people just take, like I said this would happen. I told you all in previous videos, I was like, you know, once you start letting the restrictions down and let people start getting back to some type of normality, your brain even more so is just going to go back to what you knew. It's just muscle memory. Right now is the worst time to have it, because you're just going to go back and to stop taking those extra precautions because it's starting to feel like it used to feel to you, and boom. So that's concerning, man. That's concerning. But, like, you know, this fire thing went off, and that was my first time going out. So the reason I was telling you about how I haven't been going out and stuff and everything, because at the door, what they do here is, if there's any announcements, anything they need the tenants to know here, they slide a piece of paper under the door that has the announcement written on it, which I think is a waste of paper. I don't, and time, and like even safety. I don't understand why they don't just freaking get everyone's email address or freaking cell phone number or whatever, and you could just easily type that announcement and easily send it to everybody. And it's free. Well, it may not be free. I mean, well, yeah, if you got internet, you could do it over the internet. It won't cost you anything more than you already paying for internet. The place is already paying for internet, so it ain't gonna cost you anything to send the thing out, and you're not wasting any paper and environments. Plus, I don't want to have anything coming through my door. I don't need coming through my door. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't want to touch it. But anyways, the fire alarm's going off. I got that paper there. I see that paper. I'm like, oh, maybe this is explaining what's going on now. I thought it might be like they decided to have a test of the alarm system, you know, at night or something, just to kind of check the night after hours system, you know, because it's probably all automated and whatever. So I thought, oh, I'll just read this. Man, that piece of paper said it's the hot water system, man. I'm like, hot water? What? What could hot water? When I threw that piece of paper up in the air, I freaking grabbed my keys, and I was like, I already had a plan in my head what I was gonna do, and part of my plan, mind you, was a bad thing, because in a fire, apparently, I think they say you should not use the elevators, but that's the first thing I went straight to the elevator. I was like, because in my head I was like, where's the fire escape? I didn't know where the fire stairs were, the fire escape doors, or I didn't know where they were, but I knew where the elevator was, and I was like, man, I'm gonna take my chances on this elevator, because I don't know, I waste time trying to find a way out. I'm gonna go out the way that might still work, you know what I mean? That's kind of my brain went. Plus I was like, I don't even know how to get to the basement any other way. because I was like, my plan is to get down to the basement, get in my car, and get out of there. That was my plan. I was like, I ain't running out the door. I want to try to get in my car. That was my plan, you know what I mean? So I did. I ran down in the elevator, hopped in the car, freaking boom, was out. Meanwhile, mind you, this is what got me freaking thinking. This is why we have issues, I think, with the virus situation, because I told you I ain't waste no time. Now, this premises has tons of people on every floor living, like this, you know, it's an apartment complex, like building here, place, tons of different people living, residential, tons of people staying here and that, whatever, coming in and out, you know what I mean, like all that. Like tons of people here, right? Dude, the alarm had been going off. I didn't see one person's door open, dude. Like, I didn't see there wasn't other people like checking to poking their head out even or anything like that. Like, the whole way through the halls, all the way down the elevator, there was nobody. There was no people. I go down to the basement, there's no people trying to get in their cars. I'm the only person. I drive out the gate. You have to wait for the gate to slide open to let you out and stuff. Dude, I'm looking around, there's no people waiting or anything. I'm like, come on, I wasn't even that fast myself. Well, I was fast, but I wasn't, like, I figured, you hear the alarm, everyone's like, get out, let's just go. I drive out the parking lot, the underground parking. I drive out, I go up to the street, I'm looking around, right? And I'm like, okay, it just seems very quiet. No one's doing nothing really. So I drive up the road and decide I'm gonna drive up a little bit and then kind of block, you know, do a blocky, like just kind of get away from the vicinity and like drive around and just see what's going on, see if I see anything, what's happening, you know. And I come back around, dude. I'm not exaggerating. 5 minutes, 5 to 7, maybe even 10 minutes from the time when I first heard the alarm, and I'm outside and I can see the whole building and everything, and I've circled around and done all this stuff. Dude, it took a long time for the first person to even walk out the building. I'm serious. I was like, are you kidding me? Dude, it took a long time. People, you know, you would think there would have been tons of people flowing out quick. It took like 5 to 10 minutes before the first person walked out the front door. And I was like, what's going on? And suddenly people started coming out, and suddenly whilst I was outside talking, so then I like decided, let me see what some other people are thinking. So I'm in my car still, like I'm on the road, on the main road in the car. I'm the only person out of the building in the car that's been out for a long time. I was the first one out, and suddenly there's some people and they've walked to the edge of the road. Like there's only been like matter of fact, there was only like maybe 4 or 5 people. There was like a group of 3 over there, and then there was like 2 people on this side here that were by the road. Okay, everyone else is still standing right by the building, even though they were outside. I'm like, dude, why would you stand right by the building? You just walked out and you're standing right by the building, and there's an alarm. What's going on? You don't. Why wouldn't you go further out, away from the building? The building, you don't know what's going on. You don't know why the alarm has been triggered. So anyways, man, I drive up next to these people standing here, and I'm like, yo, man, this fire thing, man, like what's, you know, we start talking about it. And I'm like, man, if this had been, you know, like we still, until that point, I didn't even know what's going on. But I'm like, dude, if this has been like some super emergency, half these people would have been freaking toast, man, because they just, and it's just like, it was like that kind of thing. Is like, I started thinking to myself, I was like, man, this is why this virus is like it is, man, because people don't take anything, they don't even take anything serious. They don't believe that anything is really going on or wrong. They're not even taking the prevention. to be like, well, just in case, we better get out quick and get out now as quickly as we can. I just saw people just strolling out, like a trip to Disneyland, man. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, like, did you not hear that? And while I was outside, here's the other thing that's got my brain just like, huh? I don't know, man. Maybe alarm systems, I don't know. This is not the alarm, how they work. Well, in my memory of an alarm, hearing an alarm, but so finally, like, we're talking, man, it would have been, this is at least 15 minutes later, right? Say roughly 15 minutes later, 10, 15 minutes later, suddenly I hear the announcement change, where it's no longer saying stand by for further instructions. It's finally saying evacuate the building, right? Like, I don't know when it changed to say that, but I only noticed it. I noticed it had started saying that about 10, 15 minutes later. I noticed that. It might have been 15 minutes. I swear it was a long time. But it could have changed earlier inside the building. I wasn't in there to hear it. But outside, from what I could hear outside, I was like, oh, they're finally telling people to evacuate the premises? Like, dude, I don't know about anybody else, but I always was personally taught when you hear the fire alarm, you freaking, you go, you get out. It's not time to freaking be planning what outfit you want to wear out the door or anything like that. You go out with what you got on and you get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get it. But that made me, you know, I was thinking about this nonstop because, like, in my brain, I was like, what's the most important thing I need to grab and get out? To me, it was like, okay. Also, take in mind that I had to also think that, yeah, this could have been just a false alarm. So I need to make sure I can get back in case. So I make sure I got my key to get back in here, which is a card, like on scan things. I make sure I have that. Make sure I have my car key, just in case, you know. I don't know if I can even get to the car at this stage, but in case I can, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to try to get out. And my phone, I thought, what's the most important thing? My cell phone. Cell phone's going to be important in case I need to call for help, in case I need anything. Everything's attached to your phone these days. You know, even if you need to transfer money or do whatever, your phone is like your one-stop shop. Everything's in my phone. So I was like, I think that's probably the most important things that I should grab. That was it. That's all I thought was most important. On retrospect, when I was outside, I was like, damn, I should have gotten my laptop. Oh man, why didn't I get my camera and vlog this? It was funny, in the heat of the emergency, I didn't even think about vlogging it. I was like, okay, I should vlog this. I should freaking vlog it. Which I should have, but I didn't know what's going on, man. It's freaking late at night. It's emergency. Alarms. I'm out. So this I think that's humans, man. Like, I don't know what's wrong with the world. I think it depends where you live in the world. I think that has a great deal to do with it, because see, in Australia, like, Australia is a very laid back, chilled kind of country, you know what I mean? Like, they're just so chilled about everything. It's their nature, which in a lot of ways it's really cool, because they don't overstress about things, you know. They're just like, you know, she'll be all right. That's the kind of their saying. You know, all my Aussie fans out, y'all know. Yeah, she'll be all right, mate. Be all right. And just cool, calm, collective, not stressing. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I was gone, man. I was gone. I wasn't even thinking, like, yeah, it'd be all right. She's cool. It's probably just a false alarm. That's the thoughts that never come to my mind first before anything else. I hope it's a false alarm. I'm like, oh, I hope this is a false alarm while I'm running really quick to get out. I hope this ain't nothing serious. But I ain't gonna take no chances to find out. You know, I'm one of those act first, ask the questions later kind of people. You know what I mean? I ain't sitting there evaluating the situation. I'm like, everyone else is probably, I guess, you know, there's pros and cons to every situation, you know. I guess there could be some merit in thinking things through a bit and go, wait a minute, this is probably a false alarm. Let me just go ahead and just take my time about it and, you know, investigate the situation. I don't know, man. Let me know how you guys would deal with that situation in the comments below. Would you had been like me and just been like, alarm, oh, I'm out? Or would you have been more like, okay, it's probably nothing. I'm tempted to just go back to sleep to bed, but I don't know. Let's just go out and just, I'll have a cigarette break while I'm out waiting. You know, is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Tell me, is that you? I want to know, man, because I think this is why the virus is the way it is, because there's a lot of people who, even though this stuff is happening around them, it's not, if it hasn't directly happened in their life or something, they just can't fathom it. You know, they can't take it serious. They're just like, this is not real. It's not really happening. It's not this, that. They become delusional about the situation because it hasn't directly affected them yet. So they're just like, it's not real. It's not a big deal. You know, I think people live in this, it's not going to happen to me type of scenario, or, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's part of the problem with this thing. People are like, it's not real. It's not a big deal. It's only happening to those people over there. They're the, you know, it's not happening here in my space where I'm at. You know, I'm fine. You know, complacency, and that's something in Australia. That's one of the things I was talking to some of my Australian friends in the past. I've had this conversation because, like, Australia compared to back home in the States, like, the crime rate and the type of crime that happens here is not on the level, like, you know, obviously in the States, you know, we've got tons of hardcore crime with guns and people being killed and murdered, like huge crime every day, break-ins, all this stuff happening all the time. But here in Australia, their crime isn't on that same level, the same part. Not saying it doesn't happen here sometimes, but it doesn't happen on the scale like back home in the States. So me also being someone who has lived around the world in many different places and been around many different places, I have my brain is kind of which admittedly being in Australia has become I've become a little bit complacent in some ways myself after being here too long. You start getting into that kind of chilled out, like, vibe-ish thing too. Like, I know there's some times where I've, like, forgotten to lock my car or something like that, or, you know, I didn't freak out as much as I would have if I was forgetting to lock my car or my house or my door, this, that, like back home in the States or somewhere else, another country. Like, you know, like here you just go, oh yeah, it'll be okay. What's the chances of someone, you know, you start getting complacent. And that's my one thing. Like, for me though, I'd like to think that I overall still in my brain, and that's just from growing up the way I've grown up around the world and all these other things, have a mentality where it's like no complacency. Like, you know, don't take anything for granted. Don't take anything, you know, you play it safe, man, and you just take the precautions. Prevention is the best cure, they say, and I think that's what I'm getting at. Like, prevention's the best cure. A lot of these things that are happening now, if everyone was taking that mentality of prevention, guess what? Cure wouldn't even be needed for this virus, because everyone would have taken prevention so serious that the virus would have just died. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, man, I don't know. Let me know, guys. I want to know. This conversation is one, man, because, like, I just feel like, you know, I've got a different mentality. I'm always just thinking about things and attempting to be a bit more proactive about everything, and, you know, and when I don't, if I become too complacent, that's when, boom, you know what I'm saying? So let me know how you guys rock and roll in your neck of the woods. Let me know what you would have done when the fire alarm went off. I would love to open up this dialogue and just everything in general that I'm talking about. Let me know how you guys your state of mind, what's going on in your lives, how you're doing. What is that one thing that is your biggest thing that you feel is holding you back right now in your life? Like, is there one thing? Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear and just compare notes. And yeah, you know, it's important every day though to, that being said, don't live in fear, and don't, you know, don't make your life where you're suddenly not living anymore because you're living in fear. That's not the answer either. You know, you still gotta live your life, but you gotta find a balance, I think. And balance, again, comes back to balance. Balance is the key to all things. But I'm gonna end this video here, because y'all know I could easily make this an hour video, but I'm gonna keep this one at the 30-minute mark. It's about to finish, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Leave your info in the comments. Let's talk about it, and I'll chat to you later. Live each moment to the fullest. Keep it off tap. And oh, by the way, yeah, it was all good. As far as I know, I don't even think there was fire. I don't know. Someone said they smelled smoke. I don't know. In case I don't want to freaking fall and drop everything on film, that just sucks. Alright guys, we're gonna do a little mission right now. Alright, this is just for you guys. We gotta get out of here!